The ambiguity here is that access money is not a direct threat to economic growth. Unlike the usual forms of corruption like bribery, extortion, and embezzlement. But access money is a threat to democracy. When existing metrics repeatedly show that high-income democracies are free from corruption, that prevents leaders and elites from seeing that the public can become frustrated with the system being rigged in favor of the rich and powerful. And it is precisely this kind of perception that is driving a loss in the trust of government and in democratic decline in many advanced democracies. In fact, when I was first introducing the Unbundled Corruption Index and the concept of access money, I faced quite a lot of resistance from some academics and elites from high-income democracies because they are very uncomfortable with confronting the reality that even in high-income democracies, you can have problems with cronyism, with exchanges of power for favors. So from that dimension, I really do want to commend the Helen Clark Foundation for your willingness to honestly and bravely confront access money as a potential threat to democracy and taking proactive measures to address the threat. I know that in your report, you pointed out that there's a strong belief that access money is a problem in New Zealand, with 65% of New Zealanders agreeing that, quote, our economy is rigged to advantage the rich and powerful. However, one of the great challenges in tackling the problem of access money, which is why I introduced this term, is that in many ways, it doesn't fit with conventional definitions of corruption, which we think about instinctively as an illegal activity, right? In many instances, like lobbying, it is not wrong. It is an essential part of democratic representation that cannot be taken away. And what you often find in the real world is a wide spectrum of activities in lobbying, for instance, from everything that is entirely legitimate to something that becomes problematic because the system has been abused by a group that has too much power. That is why access money, I think, needs to be introduced as a term because that helps us to differentiate it from activities where it's explicitly legal and you can curb these activities with laws, regulations, and punishments. The very concept of access money, its ambiguity, the wide network of actors involved, the fact that you can have a system that has an access money problem while the individuals are in fact not corrupt, all of this makes the problem really much more complex and difficult than conventional corruption. And again, that is why I think the Helen Clark Foundation really deserves a lot of credit for initiating its dialogue because the solutions will not just be about legal measures, they necessarily also will have to be a social dialogue, right? About what the public wants, what they expect their governments to deliver, what are the lines that we should draw between democratic representation and excessive lobbying. So I'm really, really, again, just delighted to be part of this dialogue that you've started.